world's greatest Arsenal podcast. Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to Arsenal's Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal community podcast. On this one, we have got Ruth sitting in the jump seat for Hilsey Gooner, who's in New York City. And we are going to talk to Llewellyn from Llewelyn Illustrations, a very talented artist, Arsenal fan, and former postman. So all will be revealed. Ruth, welcome back. You're getting good at this now, you know. You're becoming a natural, aren't you?
Oh, I'm only filling in for the big man. He'll be back next week, won't
he? Yeah, hopefully, yeah. He's got some other bits and pieces going on, so we'll just have to wait and see as and when he comes back. But, Del, welcome to the Arsenal Community Contributors Summer Season on Guns and Yellow Ribbons. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. I've got a beer, and I've made you break your midweek rule as well. So,
yeah
you've got a beer as well. And
I'm on the water. Sorry, let the slide down. Don't much.
She's like straight with the promotion straight away. Look at
that. Yeah, there she goes. She's trying to steal your thunder.
I promised David that I'd show off.
So Del, whereabouts in the country are we? With a name like Llewelyn Llewellyn, obviously we all think you're in deepest, darkest Boyerland in Wales. Where are you?
No. So I'm in Chippenham in Wiltshire, in the West Country. Lived here since I was about 10. Only about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from London. Never lived in Wales. And my name's not actually Llewellyn. It's just Del. 3 letters, 1 syllable, not short for anything. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
That is
that's
it.
me making an assumption.
You were assuming, Fergus.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. You know what to say about assume. Don't use assume because you're making an ass out of you and me, isn't it?
I think Llewellyn means pretty lamb in Welsh. It's probably good that I wasn't called that, maybe.
So, links to Arsenal, links to why an Arsenal fan? What's your links to Islington or anything like that?
Zero links to Islington. My mum was an Arsenal fan, so I just jumped on that bandwagon, and it's the only club I've ever really remembered. I remember my first memory, I think, was Steve Morrow being dropped. Was it 1993? And that's one of the first memories I've ever had. And then of course the Cup Winners' Cup final against Parma in 1994. I remember that. Or Smudger scored, didn't he? And then after that, 1995, I cried my eyes out for about 3 days when Simon got lobbed from the halfway line. So it was quite a crazy 3 years, really.
Yeah, it's one of the first games I watched in entirety because football wasn't really on normal TV that often, and that was on normal TV. And my son was 7, and he said, "Could he sit up and watch it?" And he sat up and watched it, and he cried his eyes out. And I went, "Oh, poor love! How can you get so upset about a game of football?" And here I am, going football games,
crying every week.
Yeah, I should have known. I bet he tells you that now, doesn't he? When you're there sobbing into your pint, it's like, wow,
something like that. So back in 1995, you really started dabbling with art, didn't you?
And he signed
Stephen.
it. Look, there's a signature on it.
Yeah. So I've always drawn. I've always doodled. Obviously, I spent, I think, 4 years between the age of 2 and 6 in Germany. So obviously, the language, culture, living on an army barracks. My dad was in the forces. I spent a lot of time just pretty much by myself. So I just drew all the time. And that carried on to primary school days. Even in English lessons, I'd still be drawing and getting told off for it. And then, of course, as I said, my love for Arsenal grew from 1993, 94, 95. And then I started drawing the Arsenal players, just seen David Seaman. And then my parents were like, "Well, why didn't you draw all of them?" I was like, "All right." So I did. And then we sent them off. And then I think it was about 6 months later, I had them all back. I think the only people from that squad was who didn't sign it was Dennis Bergkamp and Eddie McGoldrick.
Wow.
But I got some classics like John Jensen and Andy Linnigan. I think Stuart Houston, Bruce Rioch, and of course then you got Seaman. I got Ian Wright as well. So yeah, I've got them all there. I should probably get a decent folder for them, really. But yeah, that was my first bit of memorabilia I done. Maybe I was always born to do it. Who knows?
Exactly. Isn't it class though that the players signed them, or someone at the club thought, "Oh, we'll get these signed and sent back to them." It's just
because
so cool.
well, they're terrible.
No, they're not. I mean, how old were you? Did you say?
I would have been. See, how old was I? Sorry.
Yeah, when you drew those.
So let's have a look. I've got the letter. I got given a letter as well.
That's so awesome.
So I got in 1996. So I probably, so I'd have been 11. No, 10. I was born in June. So I had a little letter as well, and like I said, it was really cool. Ray Parlour. And this is my Ian Wright.
Oh, that is. You've got to frame that.
Oh, there we go.
That is so brilliant.
Yeah, but it's like all sorts of cartoons on the back. What was I thinking of?
That's even better. Fabulous.
mind you, for the players to recognise it and do it, I think it's when we say class is permanent, something like that just proves the class of Arsenal Football Club, especially back in that day. But you progressed further, and you started doing memorabilia art, and you start drawing players. This is Alexis Sanchez, one of your earlier pieces of work.
Yes, this was before I even got anywhere near any football art. Really, it was just this is when I was just sort of like figuring out my art style, what I was good at. And I've always been drawn to like pencils and charcoal and stuff rather than paints. And that was just a trial, just to have a bit of fun, see what happens, really. But I was nowhere near the memorabilia game at that point.
So the first one, to be honest, let me just play this just for a second. Let me just play this on here for you.
Day job he's always wanted. Llewellyn has never been to art school, but the past 2 years have proved he has something you just can't teach.
I was doing another job in recruitment, and I realised that I wasn't necessarily happy. So I decided that I was going to be an artist.
He quit and got a part-time role as a postman so he could practice his craft in the afternoons.
So good. So let me just stop that over there because it's still playing in my ears. So you quit your job as a recruiter, got a part-time job as a postman, and then started drawing.
Yeah. So that was just a plan. So I said I'm not an office. I can't sit in an office and type, and I'm quite a creative person. So an opening came up in my hometown. So I managed to get a job as a postman. I went as part-time, just doing 30 hours a week, but I sort of realised that I can do full-time and then get paid overtime. So then that would just pay for your bills and stuff. And then I practiced my craft after about 2-3 o'clock every day. And I just sort of developed from there. And then once I realised I was actually improving, done a little Facebook page and just said, "Hey guys, these are my artworks, this is my portraits. Who wants to commission me?" And then you started to get friends and family commissioning you. Not quite Tyrone Mings just yet. But so I was just getting just like pictures of like dogs, cats, and the milkman's goldfish or whatever. Family members. Yeah, there's one dog. And it just built from there, really. And then I just eventually took the plunge. I think in October 2018, I quit my job as a postman and just went for it. It was risky, and we had to downsize where we lived in order to make it more financially viable. Sell a few things, like a car we didn't really need because I've been working from home. A lot of things had to change in order to be able to progress the business. So, it was scary and it was hard, but it appears to be going all right. A few years down the line, to
do that then. It seemed like, for the want of a better phrase, a lunatic idea. Nowadays, after COVID and after having 2 years of pandemic, people have changed jobs and so on. So it doesn't seem as crazy to get the work-life balance and the creative stuff going. Yeah. Like, you didn't always just do memorabilia and footballers and the like. You have done stuff with the likes of Marvel and Mario and Mickey Mouse and various bits and pieces like that. So
in colour as well, which isn't really your choice of stuff, is it?
No. It's just I was just curious to figure out where I was at, just I think as you're an artist and you're trying to find your way in the art world, you got to experiment with these things to try and see what suits you and where your passion lies and what you think you're best at. So I started off doing murals. I've done 2 or 3 murals. That was literally my first commissions that I'd done. And of course, then I started doing the more like on paper portraits. And the name thing was really good. I got a few commissions doing that with like different things like other cartoons. Yes, obviously your Marvel, and obviously a bit of DC World in there as well. I think it was, but yeah, no, it was really cool. And yeah, I did enjoy that, and especially like when I was doing commissions of people that had passed away or something, or I was often putting multiple images together to create a photo or something that never existed. And that was really cool. I could do it.
Such a skill to do that, because you're marrying 2 totally different images, and you're making it believable, aren't you?
Yeah, and they were great. And like I said, that was the one thing that I really enjoyed doing, is just be able to hand over a portrait that had that sentimental value. And yeah, I'm obviously still even now really privileged and honoured to have had that opportunity to do something so special for people.
Yeah.
Something I miss doing, but hey, things change and got good opportunities, so got to take them, haven't you?
You've also done, it's beyond me, but a guy called Chester Beddington. Apparently he's a musician. I'm an old man.
He was a musician. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. But yeah, he was like, for my childhood. I think if you're my age, I'm 37, believe it or not.
Still a baby.
Well, I think it's just a graze that might give it away slightly now. But yeah, I think anyone in my sort of age, maybe slightly older or younger, whatever, would have known who he was and the band that he was in. And obviously, I think that was when he passed away, I decided to do that little tribute. And again, that was probably one of my first portraits, first drawings as a portrait of an individual, because it was risky, because, obviously he just passed away and it was something that's still a bit new to me. And yeah, it turned out all right. But you can see, like, obviously the pencil, I probably used the whole thing in about 3 pencils. Paper's about tracing paper as well, it looks like. But yeah, it looks like him. So that I done all right.
And then you moved on to footballers and commissions and footballers and stuff. And a guy who almost at one stage ended up at Arsenal, Tyrone Mings, was one of the first guys you did. Talk to us a little bit about Tyrone's image and how that came about, and how he ended up sticking you on the Aston Villa Insta page as well.
Yeah, so obviously, so he's I think he's Bath born, but he grew up in Chippenham, from what I'm aware. We went to the same secondary school, although I'm probably a bit older than him. And yeah, I went to school with his cousin, and obviously, he was about to seal his permanent signing, I think, to Aston Villa after they got promoted. So I thought, well, this is going to give it a go. So I done the portrait of him, and I stuck it on my social media. So that was the initial portrait that you just shown a minute ago. That was the first one I'd done, and then that got shared by Aston Villa, which was just like amazing. And to be fair, all, like, the Aston Villa fans were absolutely fantastic. They really, really enjoyed that portrait, and then I managed to just say to a cousin, say, look, any chance you can try and help me, put me in contact with Tyrone. And I had this concept, which was obviously to illustrate his career from obviously the lower leagues all the way up, and he loved the idea, so I done it, and then he then posted that onto his social media, obviously credited me, and obviously loved it. And I've done it, I don't know, I presume he has it up in his house. That was A2, I think that was. Obviously, when he got rejected at Southampton there, I think at Yates, and then obviously Chippenham Town, Ipswich, Bournemouth, and then Villa, obviously. And I think when I handed it over to him, he made his England debut, I think. So it was good timing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I believe so. Could be wrong. But yeah, that was always the plan. So obviously, I think we knew that he was probably going to get his England debut, because obviously he was playing really well at that point. So, and then that led to other things, and that's just what happens in the world of social media. People see your work, and then I had loads of footballers actually some like lower leagues, championships, and obviously then Premier League with Eddie and Katia. Yeah, a lot of them I couldn't do because a lot of people seem to think they can have stuff for free nowadays. But but Eddie was absolutely fantastic. Again, it was the same concept as Tyrone, because I think as a footballer you want to be able to show people your career of how it started, and obviously you can relate to it with your struggles and stuff. And yeah, Eddie loved it, and then he posted on his social media. I think I'd done a Marvelous Nakamba as well. Probably missing Harry Clark. And I still speak to Harry every now and again.
Harry Clark is currently at Stoke. He was the under-23 captain for Arsenal, wasn't he, at the time when you done that?
Yeah. He's top lad.
And say if you look at this, let's look back at the Eddie one there for a second.
Yeah.
So Eddie, you've got Eddie there, and he's at Arsenal. He's at Leeds. And I assume that's the England unders shirt at the back with the number 9 at the back. How long does a drawing? It is a drawing because it's done with pencil, isn't it? How long does a drawing like that take?
If I remember rightly, I think it took me 12 days, so probably about 100 hours, because I'm quite religious into the amount of hours I put in a day. I'm pretty sure it's 12 days.
Is that an A2 size as well?
That was A2, yeah. That was A2.
So do you stand to draw it?
No. The table behind me is it's A1 size, and it just rotates, and you can put it upright and stuff.
Yeah.
So it just helps with the old back.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was good, and that just again highlighted. I think it was his first goal for Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. I think we came on, didn't he, after about 3 seconds he scored against Norwich, I think it was. And then then I think it was his first Premier League goal against Burnley as well. And he was top. So massively helped me.
We talked beforehand, just before we came on air, and you said he's given you a few signed prints that he's done for you as well.
Yeah. So I've got that drawing. He signed. I think he signed 2 or 3. They're in my drawer, amongst lots of other stuff that I need to probably sort out. And I'll probably do something with them soon. Obviously, the shirt I'm wearing. I quickly just grabbed it because I ain't got an Arsenal shirt, so I quickly just grabbed it, put it on. He sent me this shirt. It's got his signature on the back, so you get it framed as well. He's top lad.
So you've obviously offended Ruth. She's left. No, she's coming back.
Not an Eddie and Katie fan. That's a bit harsh, isn't it? I'm off.
Yeah.
Later.
Her internet has crashed. She'll be back in a second, I think. She's just
is that Budgie eating the lines or something?
If you can hear us, Ruth, just refresh your internet link and then come back to us, and you'll be able to join on a new link. So the next commission that you done was this fella here, another Villa player. So obviously the word got around the Villa camp that you could do this. Talk to us a little bit about this, and I'm just going to message Ruth while you do that.
That's right. Yeah. So it was. I think I might have done this one actually just before Eddie. I can't quite remember, but So I think obviously Marvelous Nakamba just sealed his deal from Club Brugge, I think, and his agent got in touch with me, and we had this. I had this concept sent over, sort of like a digital design. Loved it, and then there we go. He had it, and I think I don't think he shared it on his social media. He might put it on his story, but he messaged me and was really pleased with it. And I quite like the concept as well. We should probably do a few more of them.
Yeah, she's having issues. She's still trying to get back on with us. We'll carry on anyway.
Right.
So
yeah, no worries.
So while she's looking at that, because she is more the art expert than myself, talk to us about attending Arsenal games then. So what's the first game that you attended? It's probably harder when you're overseas and when you're younger, and then living where you are and in Chippenham and budget restrictions and everything else.
No, of course, yeah. I mean, I think I went to watch Arsenal games more when my dad was based down on the coast in Southampton. Because I think he used to be able to get tickets through like Southampton, and we go there. So I know that there's probably a couple of times I was in Southampton end, so I had to just shut my mouth with a little Arsenal shirt underneath and a jacket on. It's like, so I went to a few. I went to North London Derby at at Highbury. And I think we won 2-1. Vieira scored. I remember that. But again, I was young, probably about 14, 15. Probably had a beer as well. So with a few army people. So don't remember everything. But yeah, I remember those games. I obviously just remember being in the atmosphere and stuff, and that was fantastic. And then the last game that I managed to go to was unfortunately about 4 years ago, I think. Obviously, becoming an artist, and they weren't exactly flush of money. So yeah, I managed to go with my friend who managed to get us corporate tickets. That was pretty cool.
Oh, you telling me this story? You had to pretend you were some buyer or something like that, didn't you?
I just had to play a role. I best not get anyone in trouble. But but I didn't work for that company anyway. But yeah, again, really cool experience. And I think it was 1-1 against Atletico Madrid. Was it Champions League? I think, or was it Europa?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I think it was Europa.
Yeah, we haven't been in Champions League for a while, haven't we? So yeah, it was 1-1. But yeah, again, great experience. The only bad thing about that is I think we missed our last train home. So we ended up having to stay in Paddington for about 3-4 hours and then get a train to Oxford.
Beer.
Well, thing is,
we had
to get a train to Oxford, and then my friend's wife and his daughter came along early hours in the morning. I think I got home at like 4:30. I wasn't too.
Did you have your own? Were you a postman then?
Yeah.
So you have to go straight out and do your round.
I had to go to the boss and just be like, I can't do any driving today, boss. I've had half hours. I literally had about 40 minutes sleep.
Wow.
Funnily enough, I didn't do much drawing when I got home from work that day. I just died.
No, I think you just probably crashed.
I definitely did, yeah.
I've got a couple of other ones. I'll show them up one by one, and we can in a sequence, and then we can talk about them. So the first one you've got on here is a slightly older one. It's one that Arsenal have put on their Twitter, and they've tagged you in it. It's Martin Odegaard. Then you have got one with again, Arsenal share this one, which is Saka. And then there's another one that you've done of Saka. So I love the detail on the Saka ones. They're just outstanding.
Yeah.
And I showed some of these when you sent them through to some of my friends and my wife as well. And they're just outstanding about the detail on it. Unreal with the detail.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just
yeah. I mean, obviously, I think the last Saka one you've done was so that one was before the one previously. There you go. Yeah, you can tell the difference in quality.
It's incredible. I mean, it is like a photograph. I mean, people go on about realistic art, but you are like leagues above. It's just insane.
Thank you very much.
It's like we've gone through like your style that we had on the first of these community sort of contributor podcasts, and then we had the stenciling from North Banksy, and then last week we had Fran and her detail and stuff.
Charlie's
she's young, she's still learning
well.
and stuff. Yeah, and Charlie's pens. So we've had all these different styles, and the different talent that's there is unreal, and the detail. It's just it type of blows me away that these are, as you say, like photographs.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
and you're getting better and better and better and better.
Well, I should do. I draw enough.
I know, but you can really see how you've evolved. It's
absolutely.
It's fabulous. Even over just a short time, really. Only really, since you say you gave up work to do it professionally, it's only been about 4 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah, so
it's insane. You're just
crazy.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for your future, where you're going to get to.
Yeah, well, I try regarding that. I try not to think about it too much. You need to start putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. I'll just take it as it comes, and just hope that it will just lead to more amazing opportunities. Which there are some really cool stuff coming up, which we may want to talk about later. But yeah, I'm chilled. I do my thing. I work hard. I try different things, which we'll probably end up going about materials and stuff in a bit anyway. But yeah, you can see how much it's come on, and I like going back. I like reposting some older stuff and go, "Whoa, what was that? What was I thinking?
I should have done that different."
Yeah, I do. But the thing is that I'm quite self-critical, and I think you need to be when you do something like portrait art. You have to have your own standards, and you have to try and better yourself each time, because otherwise how are you going to develop? And if you can criticize yourself in a good way, and then you try new things, then you're only going to get a decent positive outcome. So yeah, it's been cool.
you mentioned like materials and so on. So, and we've seen pencils and so on. You do everything in charcoal and pencil. You don't use electronic versions, and it's all on paper.
Yeah, so it's all traditional mediums, no digital stuff, no laptops, no iPads or anything like that. It's all just pencil, paper, sometimes pastel. I mean, I've got loads of. You can't see it down there. It's just a car crash down here of just different materials. But yeah, there's literally all sorts down there. This was my. I tried doing something different. So yeah, that background bit is digital. There's no way I can draw it that crisply. But it was just an experiment. So I drew obviously Eden Hazard, and just thought, wow, what can I do? And obviously my friend's quite good with the digital aspect of things, and we just had a little play really, and that was the concept we came up with. And I think I sold a couple of prints, but nothing major. I was when I just first starting off in doing the old football stuff. So it was a punt. It didn't work. So
So you said that's when you started off, and you started off as an independent, but now you become part of a bigger setup, part of Icon. Is it Icons Memorabilia?
Yeah.
So
how did
that come about, and what did that change for you? How did that change from just doing your drawings and stuff like that?
Yeah,
did it give you connections and so on?
Yeah, so I mean, it all came about where I think I featured on Lad Bible not long after the BBC interview. I went to Lad Bible, and then then someone approached me on social media, and basically somebody had worked in memorabilia, not Icons, but had links in memorabilia and done stuff for the Olympics in the past, and done stuff in retail. And basically, it was like, would you be interested in doing memorabilia? And at first I was quite dismissive because I didn't really know what it entailed. I didn't know the value in memorabilia. I didn't really know what would come from it. So I was like, I was quite meh. I wasn't really impressed by it. But then he only lived, I think it's about 15 miles away, so it's not far. And then we met up, and then obviously he brought out all the plaques with like signed athlete stuff and artwork that's been signed in the past. And it was like, this is amazing. And then we went for our first chat with Icons, and they was like, do you want to do Messi? I'm like, Bum? What? You mean Messi's going to have my artwork in his hands? Yeah. Not a problem. When, where, how, who, whatever. And that was the first portrait that I done of him. We're best mates now. We're not, but...
And again, this is another thing. When we're having a chat and just doing the test to make sure all this worked, and we could just get a bit of information about you as well. You said the timing of this was absolutely appalling because you got in touch with this guy. COVID happens, and you don't get to meet many of these people, do you?
No. I've met no one, but that was understandable in just the way it goes. Of course, as my reputation goes, they might be asking to meet me. Who knows? But yeah, chance of me meeting them was probably pretty slim. And then obviously with COVID, it was 0. So, it's okay. But there's stuff can happen in the future. So we'll just see what happens. I've already met one God, so that's all I need.
I'm just about to.
Oh, really?
One, actually, yeah. So let's bring that up on here. So is it that one? Yeah. I'm talking to my producer in my ear, honest.
So professional.
So you met this god, Arsene Wenger. Talk to us about where and when you met him, and then we can show you the close up of that picture.
Yeah, sure. So so I met him at the Soccer A training ground. I think it was Champion East Tring, sort of north west London. I had to do a compass then. Northwest London. And just went there. I met up with his PA or representative. And then he just came out, and we had a little chat. We then went into the reception area. And again, we're just talking about Arsenal and just like his biggest regret and his obviously proudest moment. But of course, I was a bit starstruck, so I don't want to hit him with loads of questions. And
can you share what his biggest regret in his?
No, that's fine. Yeah, he's mentioned it before. I think it was subbing Perez off when Arsenal lost Champions League final.
Okay.
Well, I think he believes that possibly that is something that he maybe could have done differently, which is fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
Yeah, well, but yeah, and obviously just meeting him, and then he signed a few prints, which is great, and obviously then I obviously got the original portrait, and he was just complimenting the details in there, and he was such a nice. He is everything that you expect Arsene Wenger to be. You could see he was really thoughtful, quite methodical, intelligent. You just had this aura. As soon as he just walked towards you, it's like, oh, le prof. He was really, really kind. And he knew, he was like, hello, Del. I'm like, oh, you knew my name.
Did he keep the painting? Was that ruffled off?
Say again.
Did he keep the painting that you did, or the drawing, or was it ruffled away?
Nope, I've got it.
Oh, you have it. Did he get a copy of it?
So I got 15 prints signed, and the plan is obviously get one to him, because I believe he was quite impressed. But again, I've got to go through certain channels, his FIFA representative, and then I've got 10 that I can do what 10 what I can do what I feel with. There's a few. Obviously, part of the thing was, I'd happily.
I think you're a wonderful guy. You're a wonderful guy.
I'll send you his address.
A little bit of space.
Oh, here we go.
A tiny gap there.
But part of the sort of the agreement for me to go up there was I donate one to UNICEF, which is I think is only the right thing to do, as they accommodated me at Soccer Aid training ground and stuff. And then obviously I've got one for myself, personalised to me. And obviously it's somebody that I work with as well. We've got an agreement where if we get stuff signed, hence you can see the stuff behind me.
I was about to say, you were going to need more wall space, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, I've got loads more to come.
I bet.
Loads more that I'm owed.
Excellent.
Well, I say owed, I'd like. but obviously it works out that I've got 10. I've got 10 that I can sell.
Funny, Mark in the chat asking if Wenger actually saw it. Somebody else who's in the chat from New York City is Trevor. I bet you that's what he's like now. 2 pints in his hand. He normally has 2 pints in his hand.
Two pints, Trev.
2 pints, Trev.
There you
go. Strange name of a pub, the Green Growler. I'd stay well away from that.
Yeah.
But he's also said he wants to trump me on getting that Wenger picture. But sorry, I asked first. Some of the other ones, let's get those back up here. So some of the other ones that we've got that you've gotten. So with Lionel Messi, you've also done other signings. So you've got Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
You've got Wayne Rooney and Wayne Rooney doing that. And you've got Eric Cantona in his typical and for the arrogant pose that he had, because it was an arrogant pose.
Absolutely.
It's a really good image. You got the former England and West Ham player, Jeff Hurst, and some other players that England supporters mightn't like too much is Maradona and the Hand of God. Now, this is just, I know it's just remarkable that the detail and the quality, the muscle definition on that as well. It's good. Has Peter Shilton ever seen this? Has he ever commented on it?
I don't think he has. But I don't think he really likes that moment. So if he did see it, I'd probably be assassinated pretty quick. He doesn't like that, does he? He's not a fan. So it's better he doesn't see it. I have tagged him in it before, actually. Funny enough, he didn't see it or respond.
He did.
But the weird thing is that I don't know if I sent that one over, but the first Maradona one that I had was where he's kissing the World Cup, I think 1986, I think it was, the World Cup trophy. And it was actually in Argentina when he passed. So unfortunately, obviously I wanted to come back. But yeah, my first stuff was nearly signed by the great Maradona.
Wow.
But unfortunately, things happen.
The most iconic in the sort of for icon and for in the marketplace is another one of somebody kissing. This is Lionel Messi kissing Copa del America.
Yeah.
And this has been sold. Can you go into detail about the
art?
How long
of
it
course,
took?
Yeah. So I think was actually doing an exhibition at that point, so I didn't actually see it go live. All I saw was just the aftermath. I say the aftermath, but so we managed to get a few prints signed, and obviously the original went to sale, and they all went within, I think, about 24 hours. And yeah, Messi sold for so that portrait sold for a substantial 5-figure sum.
How crazy did doing the reflections in the trophy send you?
It took me a week.
Was it harder to do the face or the trophy? Because you've even got every badge. Have you even written the details on the badge?
Everything's there. I spent well over 100 hours on that.
It's insane.
Arguably one of my best ones. And yeah, it took forever.
Even the shadow at the bottom where you can see his hand holding onto the rim of the trophy, it's just fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah,
you're seeing detail I didn't even see, and that's
it's amazing, isn't it? And you could look at that for hours and see new things in it.
I mean, you could this is how that's not sad I got, but if you were able to zoom in, you'd see all the stitching. I spent time doing all the stitching, and
you've got the reflection in his ribbon.
Yeah, I've
just
done everything.
Remarkable. Just brilliant.
I covered a lot of bases with that one. Definitely. But yeah, obviously that trophy. I mean, trophies are great if you can get them right. They can really add to a portrait. Obviously, it's a magnificent moment for that individual. But
Actually, I remember you tweeting something. It might have been a different image, but you actually just put a tweet out like trophies and reflections. They're just so hard. I was like, I know.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, I think the first trophy I ever drew was, I think, Jack Grealish. I thought I'd give that a go after Tyrone and Marlon Stakamba, of him lifting the championship playoff trophy, I think it was, just to see if that would, get any social media exposure, which didn't really happen. But that was the first trophy I'd done, and that was quite difficult. And then I think the second one was the World Cup, and then you could see Steven Gerrard with the Champions League trophy, and then I figured, there we go, yeah.
I think that was the one that nearly finished you off, I think.
Yeah, well, that was obviously before the Copa America one, but it was just one of those things where, it's a challenge. And I think if you're going to progress, especially as a portrait artist or something that works in memorabilia, you have to be able to deliver on these sort of things. And there's lots of people out there that do portraits, and the people themselves are fantastic, but then they just don't put the effort into the trophies, and that's what it's all about. If you're trying to capture a moment, you've got to be able to deliver the whole thing to get that emotion and stuff.
That goes back to what we've said right throughout this, like the different styles and different techniques, and art is very subjective. Like, Ruth does bricks, but does them differently than you do bricks. But there's still the same amount of detail, the same amount of work. You just seem to be super, super detailed. You're like line by line, pixel by pixel, almost.
Pore by pore and hair by hair follicle, isn't it? You're just Do you wear glasses, like extra glasses?
I do sometimes. Yeah, it just depends on my eyes. Most of the time, I'm okay, but after a certain amount of hours, I'll chuck on the old spectacles.
Do you get extra, do you put a magnifying glass sometimes in front of your work?
No.
You're lucky. I probably need 3.
No, it just takes my vision from like HD to 4K or 8K, whatever it is nowadays. But it just helps when my eyes get tired. So.
And where were your influences? Like, you probably like other artists and stuff like that, but where were your influences to go down the route of portrait painting?
I can't put a finger on it, because even when I was like growing up, and even when I was in doing recruitment consultancy, I was just doing cartoons. Because I'm a bit of a mentalist and I'm a bit of a joker, so doing cartoons and stuff was quite fun. I don't really know, and then I just don't really know why I ended up going into portraits. I remember I was a youngster when I was in my teens. After the Arsenal stuff, I started to do football art. I used to just go on, just open up a magazine, and then just basically copy what I can see. And I think maybe that's where I got into sort of the portrait art, because obviously I was doing different faces, and you want to try and just capture everyone's details and features and stuff. So I think it may have started there, maybe. But But yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know.
Is there other people out there, like Ruth was so excited to talk to you about this because she'd been following you on Twitter
I'm
and
a
Instagram.
Big fan.
Number one fan. High five.
Are there others out there
There it is. Yeah.
that you like?
It's I'm going to be completely honest. I don't look at other artists and think it's not egotistical or anything, but I know where I want to go, and if I focus on what I'm doing, that's where I'm going to get the best results. So does that make sense? So I'm not,
yeah.
So when I look at other people that do football art, I don't personally see many people that are currently doing it the same as me, and if they are, they're not necessarily doing it better than me. But there's people that do like paintings. I think it's someone called Emily Morocco, and she's fantastic oil painter. She's down in Australia. I think she's moved over to the UK, and she's had loads of features on Liverpool. She's fantastic oil painter artist, and she's got loads of followers and stuff.
Different technique and so on.
Absolutely. But when it comes to like pencil art, I think I wouldn't say admire either. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. It's am I inspired? No, it's fine. I'm trying because there are certain artists where I look at and go, do you know what? You are very, very good. I don't wish to be you because I'm happy with the style that I have. I know that my style is quite heavy at times, but I want it to be identifiable and, dare I say, in the future iconic, where you can just see a portrait and go, I recognise that style. That's Llewellyn.
You can look at a Monet and you can see it. You know it's a Monet all day long.
Yeah.
You want to be that identifiable. Yeah. I get.
Well, it's the same as like Ruth. It's a completely different way. But if I was to see a building in London,
see some bricks.
But the thing is, but you have a style. The way you do things, it is identifiable, and I think that's something that's actually really special. When we talk about artwork, if you can try and pinpoint somebody's artwork just by looking at it, not really necessarily knowing who it belongs to, then I think that's something. Then you've done your job in art.
Yeah, and it's just go on.
Sometimes it might kind of like restrict you because, like you said, you're trying to find different avenues, and you're always trying to improve on the last thing. So then you will evolve. So what you're doing this decade, you might be doing something totally different in 10 years time. I mean, maybe, we don't know. So you do want to evolve, but I am glad that I'm better than I was 3 years ago, which I can look at my first things and think they're different.
You look at the Canonbury piece that you've done for me, and then you look at some of your stuff you're doing now, you can see the progression and how people get better over time.
Yeah, it's much different.
Even if we go back
like that.
If you go back and using Dell as an example, this one here of Chester Bennington, and then you do a comparison to, I don't know, that there, you can see the progression over time. Yeah, you can see the progression over time. With regards to Arsenal fans or just general fans, because you do work on your Instagram, you've done bits for clubs like Villa. We'll talk about the Liverpool work in a few minutes as well. But how much do the Arsenal fan base embrace you? Do you get a lot of feedback from them?
I think it's a lot more now. I think I've actually done, I think I've been on Arsenal's socials 5 times. I think actually, I think Aubameyang, Thomas Partey, and when his like squad announcement, I think Charlie Shanks was part of that as well. I'm trying to think who else. And obviously the Bukayo Saka one, obviously in Wenger. I'm probably missing one. In general, it's really well received. And whenever Arsenal,
Odegaard was the other one.
Odegaard, that's it. Yeah, whenever Arsenal shared my stuff, it's always been quite well received. Apart from the first one, which I'm probably sure we're going to go on to next. That was a.
It's like we planned this, isn't it?
Yeah, wow, look at that. It's a little storyboard we're going
through. So let's talk about our very, very prolific striker to start off with, and then a prolific sulker in the end. And you also So I thought it was a different number 11 that you had on there. So talk to us about this, because you said there's a story behind this. You're going to tell me about it.
Yeah, sure. So it was after I'd just done the stuff with Sky and BT, which I know we'll talk about. And I thought I'd try something new. So I literally done something on A1, and I thought I'd just do this big thing of Aubameyang, which was featured in the BBC report, which you saw. Yeah, so I was doing that. And then, then it obviously got shared by Arsenal. And I thought, this is the first time, the club that I supported since I was a kid is now using my work. This is fantastic. But yeah, I got battered. I got absolutely battered. I would say, especially like on Facebook, I would say probably about 50% of the comments were really, really derogatory. And it was quite relentless. And some of the things on Twitter as well, I was getting DMs just saying, "How dare you draw Aubameyang this badly? He's the best thing since sliced bread. Blah blah blah. You should give up artwork. You deserve to have your head kicked in and stuff." It turned to be quite nasty.
Badly. I've got glasses on, and even with my glasses, it's not
how
bad.
How can people say that? I can understand it. Not really understand it, but if it was a non-Arsenal fan who was just wanting to have a pop because you'd made you were successful in getting something recognised by the team, I kind of understand why you're getting grief. But when you're getting so much grief from Arsenal fans for something that is clearly absolutely brilliant, I just why?
I mean, I can accept critique. I sort of usually just if it's valid, I can admit it's not the best thing I've ever done, which is fine. But yeah, it was definitely an experience and something that I think I needed to go through, because not everyone's going to like the work that you do, and you are going to get those people that are just going to say things for clout. Or
do you think it's sort of, if you had one comment that was really derogatory against you, was it like an opening a box for other people just to latch on just because it was fun to just go
of course, it's just a world we live in,
even if they meant it or not?
I mean, I've been fortunate to have been on like some big social media pages like Sport Bible and Sporf and Lab Bible, and you get it on there, because you got people from different generations, different fan bases, and it's quite popular nowadays to just be a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
So
to hurt people.
Sorry,
unnecessarily.
But it's just bad. It was.
There's this one here. I saw this before I contacted you. This is one. This was one of the ones that absolutely blew me away. I was sitting outside my local pub a couple of weeks back and going through your Instagram and stuff like that. And I said to some guy, "Look at this," and they had a look and they went, "Yeah, it's a nice photo. I recognise that guy." I said, "That's not a photograph. That's an actual guy who's pencil. I'm going to be talking to him." And I just thought, it's outstanding.
Yeah.
So
I enjoyed doing that one. It was just I had a really small break in the memorabilia work. Only a few. I think it took me 3 days. That was only on A3, as you can see. By the tell by the size. But I just thought I'd just give it a go, and then shared it on social media. Stephen Bartlett loved it. Follows me on Instagram.
You're going on about your Instagram pages. People really need to go and just have a look, because it is the most sensational gallery, and you just can flick through. Just people need to log on. Was it at Llewelyn Illustrations?
That's the one, yeah.
And it's just sensational.
Thank you.
And also you've got little nice progression video things, haven't you? Like how you.
Yeah, just like little reels and stuff, like time lapses. I'm not a massive fan personally of doing time lapses, just because it just gets them away. I'm just like, when I'm drawing, I want to be left alone. I just want to just do what I need to do without a camera in my face or headbutting it or whatever. But it's something I need to do more of, and I know I'll get my setup better than what I've had in the past. So some pretty good stuff on there, I must admit. And what I like is I haven't deleted anything. It's literally from the very first day that I started going up, so you can look all the way down to the bottom and go, ooh. Have you
uploaded your David Seaman, Ian Wright drawings when you were 11 yet?
I think they are actually on there. Yeah,
really?
I think there's a little video of me just like scrolling through them. just like
I haven't
flipping
seen
from one
that
to
one.
the
I'm
other. I
gonna
think
go
so.
back and have a look.
Might have a little look. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there'd be something on there like that anyway. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
I'm just. I've got a message from New York coming into me on the other screen. Hence why I was letting you carry on talk.
From our Trevor.
It is from Trev, so we'll show his dodgy legs in a minute. So, right, the next thing I'm going to do, I've turned the sound off on this because it is officially a bit of an advert for a sports channel. But talk to us about this. This is when Liverpool won the league, and you were commissioned to do something.
Yeah, so this was actually Premier League Productions, and they got in touch with me after I'd done the Tyrone Mings and Eddie Nketiah montage, and I think that was what you could see by the end of it. That's where the concept came from. And yeah, I was then. I think it came to January of the year when they won it, so 2020. And yeah, there was like, can you do a montage of the majority of the squad? And obviously, and Klopp, and I was like, okay. So I came up with a concept. And that took long enough anyway. And then, yeah, we agreed on the concept, and I made a start. I think it was in March, and obviously this was when COVID hit. So I think the season didn't end until I think it was July or June, late July. Yeah. So yeah, and for the majority of it, I was just working on this. There was weeks upon weeks of doing this A0 portrait. So that was 4 foot high.
That's massive.
And then obviously to go up to Stockley Park, where obviously where the studio is, and again do this videoed and stuff, and yeah, it was really, really cool.
Did you get to see the VAR room?
I didn't, no. But I would have gone there and just slapped everyone in the back of my hand. Yeah. Listen, you've got the technology, use it right, please.
Wow, look at that picture.
So yeah, that was that was an amazing experience, and then I said that was televised, and I think 190 countries. Actually, there's a few people from Chippenham who in Cyprus, I think, and he was like, "Oh, you're on TV," and then took a screenshot and sent it over to me. But yeah, that's absolutely amazing experience. Yeah, love to do something like that again. You never know, World Cup's coming up.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Yeah, England lifting the World Cup.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
knows?
Might pull the finger out and not get smashed by who they lost the 4-0 the other day, wasn't it?
Hungary, wasn't it?
That was Hungary, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, I'd say commission Ireland doing it, but they're not good enough just to get into the World Cup these days.
Not quite there.
No, not quite
Next
there.
time.
Listen, apologies for showing so much Liverpool footage on that, but it was more about the art that was behind it. Let's get back to Arsenal. So, thoughts on last season, just as like a close. Thoughts on last season, expectations for this season, and we won't even go into Jesus' transfer. It's not worth it.
No, I'd say I'm okay with how we finished last season. The disappointing part, which left a bit of taste, I think, in everyone's mouth, is that we had it on our own hands, and we bottled it. Now you can put that down to the youth of the team, the inexperience of being in those high pressure situations, injuries, whatever you want to call it. We buckled under pressure. So that was really disappointing. However, I think most people, that Arsenal fans that have a bit of sense, getting back into Europe was the priority. We challenged on quite a wafer thin squad, and yeah, we're back in Europe. It looks like Arteta's being backed again, and obviously with signings and stuff that could be happening, might not be, whatever. But for me, if he's been backed fully in 2 transfer windows, I think this is now his squad, or pretty much. It's time to deliver, and whether this season we get 6th place and we get 6th and win the Europa League and get Champions League, and fine, we get top 4 and come out of the Europa, whatever. Get in the Champions League, that has to be the minimum expectation. I think anyway.
You ruined my last question because I asked you this one.
I went on to it. Yeah, I did realise. I thought, do you know what?
Get a new question now.
Yeah.
No. It literally was when we were doing this chat. I finished it off by saying, we were talking about expectations, what we thought of the season, and so on, and what's upcoming in the transfer window. I said, right, giving you a choice, you can have top 4 are finished 6th, 7th, and we win the Europa League. And you chose the latter, didn't you? 6th in the Europa League because it's a trophy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we would get silverware. Why would you not want to win the Europa League? Of course, if it gets you into the Champions League, then that's what you want, and that's where Arsenal need to be. I'm a passionate Arsenal fan, but I try and be realistic and manage my expectations. And as I said, I think Arteta now has everything that he wants, or we'll see what happens in this transfer window.
Yeah.
But I think we've been fully backed, and you can see there were so many positives coming out of last season. But again, you can see those frailties, and you just got to work on them. And I think we could have a really good year, because I said Manchester United, even though they may get in a few good top signings, and they are going to attract still some top players because it's Man United. It's just the way it is. But that it's still going to take time for a new philosophy to come into it. They've got a lot of deadwood. Liverpool, I know they've think Darwin Núñez, but again, Salah doesn't seem to look like he's going to renew. The midfield's aging. I think Chelsea seems. I don't really know what's going on with Chelsea. They had a good team last year, but really struggled. I think so. Yeah, I think it's in our hands. We just got to perform and obviously ultimately deliver, and then at the end of next season, see where we're at.
Yeah, no, I agree. There is a photograph I want to show you. It's of Trevor in a very sultry and hot. Hang on, just let me see if
bathroom.
Yeah, toilet.
Don't leave it hanging there.
He's at the Green Growler.
Oh, that's the Green Growler.
Yeah. And it's got craft beer, and he said Donna's buying the beers as well.
Yay! Only 2 pints.
Only 2 pints. Yeah, only 2 pints. So, one thing before we go, you'll see the backdrop behind us has changed a little bit. That's thank you to Russ Hogg has done this bit of photography work for us and created our new backdrop. So a shout out to Russ. If anybody wants any photographs and artwork done, he can do it for you as well. Del, do you take private commissions? And with the detail you're in, it will be the high end sort of commissions that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I still want to be able to take commissions. I'm manically busy, which is amazing. But of course, when I'm not doing the commercial aspect of things, then of course I want to still keep on doing commissions, because I said I really enjoyed them. But of course, that now comes with a slightly higher price, just because of the price that my work sells for, which I'm still trying to get my head around. So it was. I think it's really. I still want to do commissions, get in contact, but how many I can do, I just don't know.
That's fine.
Because I'm doing some great things. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens. Of course, next few months.
Great way to get in touch with you is via your Twitter, which we had scrolling along the bottom. That's how I got in touch with you, and we communicated quite well on there. Del, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed it. Well, I really enjoyed it. It was really interesting.
Absolutely.
And I've got a load of good photos on my phone now as well.
I should get a watermark, shouldn't I? Oi.
Yeah.
There's a few of them are, but
I won't share. I won't share them. Don't worry. It's okay. They're yours anyway.
Thank you.
But thank you very much. Really, really enjoyed it. Our next one that we're doing next week is we're hoping to get Jack from the Ashburton Army and Ben Bennett, Clock End Ben, who they create that atmosphere in the Clock End, and talk to them, because again, okay, they're fans, but they create an atmosphere. And they're adding to the Arsenal community. So I will confirm that on Twitter in the week. Ruth, you've done well.
Trevor's back here. Well, not here in this seat, but he'll be in this little screen next time, won't he? He's back home.
Yeah, I think he will. So I'll confirm. If not, I'll drop you a message, and you can be an excellent substitute to join us on there. So
give it my best shot. It's big shoes to fill, Trev.
One final question, by the way. Somebody wants to buy the Wenger print. How much for a print?
For a print, I'm still liaising with people that I work with, but it's probably because there's only going to be 15, obviously in total, but 10 will be for sale, so it could be anything from 350 to 500. I'm still having a little look, and obviously that will, we've got postage and stuff, but we'll see. I've got a few things to sort out in terms of framing. Can it all be done professionally? Obviously, with a little plaque and stuff. And but yeah, that's Messi stuff sells for 600. So
yeah, so it's going to be similar sort of stuff.
Well, I got 100 then. Yeah. So well, I don't personally have them, but in a warehouse somewhere.
Through, yeah. Thanks very much, everybody. You have been listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. If you like what we do, click the like button, subscribe to us. We are hobbyists. We just do it for fun. But I really do thank you for your time. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Happy Arsenal.
You've been listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons and Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too.